As a little girl, domestically abused as a young adult, living in a women's shelter, and survived a suicide attempt, Erica Gilchrist has earned the title of the Unstoppable Woman. She is regarded as one of the most energizing, engaging, and captivating speakers in the industry. She is the creator of the brazen brand WTF, Women Thriving Fearlessly. As a published author of 13 books and a 20-year speaking veteran, Ms. Gilchrist is an expert in personal development, leadership training, and conflict management skills for women. She has built a thriving business from absolutely nothing to now being the owner of the largest expo for women in business in Chicagoland, appropriately called the Women Thriving Fearlessly Expo. She's been featured as one of the 15 most powerful women on the South Side of Chicago, Chicago Woman Magazine, WCIU, CLTV, and Rolling Out Magazine. Audiences everywhere are truly touched by her authenticity and unapologetic approach to crushing it in life and in business. Erica Gilchrist is truly a woman thriving fearlessly.
Hey, everybody, Erica Gilchrist here. I am so excited that you are here. WTF, what? Women Thriving Fearlessly. And we're coming to you from Mission Control. This is my primary studio where I do my live streaming. And the Elevate series originally was the same day, same time, except it was at the Yelp office at Merchandise Mart. But with everything that's happening globally, we have to do the social distancing. And so I've switched to an online platform. So I'm still going to elevate you. We are still going to get information. And the information we were going to give prior to everything that just went loopy was about women and money. But more so right now, I wanted to talk about ways we can pivot, because I know that for many of you, your world is turned completely upside down, in and out, backwards and forwards, ripped to shreds, and you're trying to piece it all together. I want you to know that I hear you. I was part of that. I found ways that I can pivot. So I'm going to share everything I have with you. And just so you know, you can't see Mission Control right here in front of me, but I got a lot of notes here. So you're going to see me pick stuff up and put it down and maybe flip a page, because I have so much information that I want to give to you. And by the way, y'all like that bio in the beginning? Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So before I get into the content, who is Erica Gilchrist? And for those of you who have never heard me speak, you don't know anything about my story, I'm going to share that with you right now. So at the age of 3, my father was killed in a tragic train accident. And my grandmother, my father's mother, raised my sister and me, which sounds like a happy ending, but I want you to keep listening, because while I was in that household, I was sexually abused by those who were supposed to be there to protect me. And what that does to the psyche of a little girl turned teenager, turned young adult, is absolutely insane. It confused me about the role that men were supposed to play in my life. Were they my predators or were they my protectors? At the age of 19, I moved out of the house, and it really doesn't matter what you think you know at the age of 19, because you don't know jack. I moved out of the house and I said, I'm going to conquer this world, but the world tore me to pieces. I found myself in 2 abusive relationships. When I escaped my last abusive relationship, I found myself sleeping in my van in the dead of winter in Chicago. When it got to be too cold outside, I decided to move into a women's shelter. And in that shelter, I shared a single bedroom with 5 other people. Now, while I was in that shelter, I decided I didn't want to be here anymore, meaning Earth. And so I tried to commit suicide. So let's recap. Abandoned at the age of 3, sexually abused during my formative years, homelessness, domestic abuse, and suicide attempts. According to society, and for all intents and purposes, I should be a basket case right now, but I'm not. Let's fast forward to today in 2020. I am an award-winning speaker, a 13-time published author. I own the largest expo for women in business in Chicagoland on the 99th floor of the Sears Tower. I freaking love my life. So do you think I might know a little something about how to pivot during times of uncertainty? Yes. I know. I'm glad that I was able to share my story with you. If my story resonated with you, if it's something you hear and you say, oh my goodness, I didn't know that about you. And maybe that'll give you the courage to start sharing more of your story. I'd love to hear that. And by the way, if you're visiting us live, I want to make sure that you know the chat box is absolutely available. I encourage you to enter questions and comments into the chat box. I'm going to be checking periodically to answer your questions. I may put a link or something at a moment's notice in there. Okay, wait a minute, I forgot about something. Let me check this out. This is not like a really formal presentation. I'm just going to do a brain dump on you in an organized fashion. And sometimes things click and I go, oh, wait, that's something else I can share with you. So I may stop, put something in the chat box. If you're watching live, go ahead and put in the chat box. Let me know that you're here. Say, hey, Erica. Let me know what city you are in quarantine. I know some of y'all are just in the house like, oh, good Lord, how much more of this can I take? But I want to make sure you know to use the chat box. All right. So the number one question that I get after people hear my story is, so how exactly, like seriously, for real, how exactly did you go from 5 years old to the 99th floor of the Sears Tower after all of that? And there's a lot of different things that I had to do. I absolutely had to pivot. I had to learn how to make decisions that may not have necessarily been made if everything was going okay. So I'm going to go over a few of the things that I learned how to do to get from that suicide attempt to the 99th floor of the Sears Tower. So on your screen, you are going to see something that says position and pivot. You see those arrows going in a whole bunch of different directions. That's probably how you're feeling right now. And trust me, I totally understand. Now, there was a lot of things that I had to do to get myself off of that floor, back at the homeless shelter, all the way to the 99th floor of the Sears Tower. So I'm just going to give you several bullet points. I mean, there's probably 200 more of them that's missing, but I'm going to give you some key points. First and foremost, I decided that I needed help. And so I went into professional therapy. Now, because I was in a shelter and I had no money, I was able to find a a therapist that charged on a sliding scale. So for you, if you feel like it's time for you to get out of the current headspace, emotional space that you're in, I would encourage you to seek professional therapy. I had to tap into my creative outlets. I've always been a creative child. I was the kid in school who, instead of drawing with markers and color pencils, I would take Elmer's glue and glue colored clay onto the surface. Like, I was that chick. I was that child that was always like, nobody ever thought of that. I got really clear about my business. What type of business did I want to have? What direction did I want to go into? And I made no excuses, none. I had to pivot, but I did not make excuses. I got knocked down more times than I can count. And every single time I decided to get up. I maximized my work experience. What I mean by that is, one day I tried to figure out how many jobs have I actually had in my life. And I got to number 72 and I just stopped. I was like, okay, let's just say I had a lot of jobs. Well, what I did is every time I worked, I used the skills that I learned at that job and applied them to my business. Customer service, I applied it to my business. Learning how to do the books, I applied that to my business. And when I was in management, applied that to every single thing that I experienced in the workforce. I just did a pivot and I applied that to my business. If you think about it, it's basically paid training for your own business. I sought collaborations. Once I got clear and I was able to actually get the ball rolling, I started looking for other people whose business would complement my own. Several times I had to rebuild my business model. I'd tear it down and put it back together again, and then tear it down and build it back together again. So I've gotten really, really good at blowing things up into a million pieces and then putting it back together, which I'm sure is a space that you might be in right now. And I took a whole lot of risks, a whole lot of risks. I am a born risk taker. I know for some people, the idea of taking a lot of risks is really, really scary for you. And I understand that. But what I also want you to understand is if you don't take risks, you are risking your success. So not taking risks is a risk all in itself. There was a lot of things I had to go through in order to get to the top of the 99th floor. So for you, I'm going to give you some suggestions on how you can pivot. Those are the things that I did. And if any of those things that I did resonate with you, then go for it. But now I want you to have a look at this graphic. Pivot. That is the name of the game right now in our society, is to pivot. So I'm going to start at the bottom left. Allow the emotional breakdown and then move. I want you to allow the emotional breakdown, but then I want you to move. A trigger for me, if I can be totally transparent with you, one of my personal triggers is if I'm upset and I start to show it emotionally and I start crying, or if I'm angry, if someone tells me to stop crying, if someone tells me calm down, that is a trigger. When all of this stuff took place and the rug got pulled out from underneath you, you were feeling some type of way about that. You're allowed to do that. And again, if I can just be transparent, I had an entire spring tour lined up. And some of you all watching right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you were part of my tour. So when that got snatched away from me, through no fault of my own, I did all the right things. I invested the right amount of money to secure the speaking engagements. I paid for the travel. I counted the money that I knew I had coming in. I made plans for that money. I committed that money. And then all of a sudden, poof, it was gone. And when I tell you, I felt like crawling under a fucking bridge. I was done. And I had to experience it. So I had a crying session for about a whole day. Well, actually, that's not true. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had a crying session for a good 45 minutes. But when I say a whole day, I mean, I took the rest of that day to pivot. So after I allowed myself to feel what I was feeling, the disappointment, the anger, the oh crap, what am I gonna do now? I allowed myself to feel it. But once I was finished, I took the rest of that day. I'm like, all right, E, you've been here before, maybe not to this extent, but we need to move, and we need to move quickly. That's what I want you to focus on. You are allowed to be pissed off about what happened. You are allowed to be scared. You're allowed to be nervous. You're allowed to be emotional about it. So feel it so you can process it and let it go. But after that, it is time to get off your ass and it is time to move. That's the first thing. So I'm going to go back to the graphic. So the first thing was allow the emotional breakdown and then move. The next thing, take a skill set inventory. A skill set inventory. What the heck does that mean? A skill set inventory. A lot of times when the rug got pulled out from underneath me, I just started writing down all the things that I knew how to do. Now, I want you to hear what I just said, all the things I knew how to do, not necessarily all of the things that I was great at. Ooh, you see the difference? Everything I know how to do. I knew how to write, even though I knew I could use some work. What do you know how to do? Do you know how to tutor? Do you know how to clean efficiently? Do you know how to write? Do you know how to do hair? What do you know how to do? Then you start looking at your list and saying, now, what am I really good at? So you have an entire list, a whole lot of them, what you know how to do. And then I want you to start checking the ones that you're really, really good at. Now, the ones that you check that you're really good at, ask yourself, how do I monetize that? How do I actually make some money from that? Do you know how to sew? Do you know how to design things? Do you know how to design websites? Now, full disclosure, I learned how to design websites because I had to, not because I wanted to. So that's on my list of things that I know how to do. And I'm actually quite good at it. I don't like it, but I know how to do it. I didn't ask you to write down the things that you like to do. I said, take a skill set inventory of the things you know how to do. And then you ask yourself, how do I monetize that? So go back to the slide. So we've taken our skill set inventory, right? So we have this whole list of things that we know how to do. So now I want you to move into number 3, which is the professional bartering. Professional bartering. I am not referring to collaborating with another person, service for service or product for product. That's not what I'm talking about. Professional bartering is a community of businesses that decide, okay, I am willing to take on work for barter dollars. So here, let me give you an example. If you walked into Target and you said, hey, Target, I know how to get all the wrinkles out of clothes. And Target says, okay, we'll pay you to do it. We'll pay you $1,000 to do that. So you take your skill, you go into Target, you do your thing. They give you $1,000 Target gift card. So you can take that $1,000 Target gift card and buy anything that Target has to offer online or in the store. So that's professional bartering. The professional bartering community that I belong to is called Art of Barter. Let me put this in the comment section. Hey, Bunny. Hey, Lynn. Thrive Epic. Erica, I know Thrive Epic. That's Erica with an A, baby. Cynthia, hey, boo. Mwah, mwah, mwah. All feelings are valid. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to put the website in here. And I'm not wearing my glasses, so just hang on a second. artofbarter.com. Art of Barter, Barter. If I didn't spell it right, it's because I ain't got my glasses in. But that is the website. So my Women Thriving Fearlessly Expo, I sold about 3 tables at $300 each to members of the Art of Barter community. So at selling 3 tables, I now had $900 that I can use with any product or service in that community. And there's over 1,000. So if I needed my roof fixed, for example, if it was leaking and I'm like, oh crap, I don't have the money for that. Wait a minute, I've got 900 barter dollars. So let me look on the website and see who does roof repair. I see a roof repair company and they're going to charge me $1,000 to repair my roof. Well, $900 of it I already got. So now I only have to pay them $100 cash. Or if I dented my car and I need to get that dent pulled out. So I'm going to go in that community and I'm going to look and see, well, who does, body repair? They say, yeah, we can charge you $250 to get that little dent out. Great. Well, I got $900 to spare. Do you see how that works? When you are short on cash, when you don't have the liquid funds available, I want you to consider professional bartering, but you have to have something to offer. If you are a coach, yes, they take coaching services. It doesn't have to be a physical product. For my expo, you know how I used that $900? Printing. You know, those programs, for those of you who've been to my expo, the programs and gift bags and tablecloths, all of that. I used my barter dollars in order to do that. So that's an option that's available to you, is professional bartering. There are some other barter communities. I think iTex is still around. I'm not 100% sure. ITEX, itex.com. If not, just go ahead and do a Google search. Art of Barter is something that's in the Chicagoland area. Hey, Beth. Hey, darling. How are you? Absolutely. Wahoo. I love you. I love you too, Erica, with an A. I am digging all the love. Okay, so let's go back to the graphic. So we just talked about professional bartering. So the next thing on the graphic is invest in the business. Invest in the business now more than ever. Now is the time to dig deeper into the business. Now is not the time to pull back. Because if you have a job, as an example, and they all of a sudden say, you can't work for circumstances and conditions that are out of your control. What are you going to fall back on? Personally, I love being a business owner. And I'm not saying that you should spend all of your money reinvesting into the business to the point where you can't eat. I'm not saying that. I'm saying right now, especially, is the time to spend the money to sharpen your business model, sharpen your marketing, make it more polished, make it more professional, go beyond what everybody else is doing. And I'm going to give you some very specific tips a little bit later on how you can separate yourself from what everyone else is doing right now. Right freaking now is the time to start really investing in your business, because once all of this blows over and the dust settles, where are you going to be? I want you to consider this. Everyone is indoors right now. Once they ring the bell and they say, okay, y'all can have recess. What is going to happen? Everybody is going to just flood restaurants. All those events that you were too busy to go to, you're going to start going. How are you going to position your business to make money when that influx happens? When everybody now is going outside. And when they ring the bell for recess, it's going to be warm outside too. Oh my gosh. What? So not only is it going to be warm outside where people are going to go outside anyway, but now they are looking for things to do. They're looking for that human engagement. How are you going to maximize that? You better believe I have 4 events a year minimum. My next one is June 30th, and I'm hoping it'll be a live event, but we'll see. If not, I want you to start thinking about ways to invest right now so that you can prepare for the influx. And then you have dual ways of making money. You make money online, and you also make money in person. If you've never had an in-person business before, you've been 100% online, I urge you to consider bringing it offline, even if it's temporary, to prepare yourself for the influx. All right, so going back to the pivot chart, we went over invest in the business. Now we are going to call in favors. This is going to make some people a little nervous. As I'm looking at this list of people who are online, and based on the people I know and in my circle, we are the go-to people, right? We are the people that everyone goes to when they need advice, maybe when they need money, when they need someone to babysit, when they need a ride, when they need an ear to bend. We're the go-to people. And we're usually the last ones to ask for help. I'm telling you right now is the time to call in favors, but there's a way to do it. Please do not approach people and say, remember all that stuff I did for you? Don't do that, because you did it out of the kindness of your heart. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying if there's something that you need, pride out the window. You start calling in favors. People who have asked you for stuff for years and you said yes, call them up. Say, hey, listen, I just added this new element to my business model. I need your help. Say those words. I need your help. It would really help me out if you could do this, this, and this. Anytime you are asking someone to help you, I need you to be very specific, because a lot of people love you. They don't always know how to help you, if that makes any sense. Because sometimes you can say, well, I need you to help me market my business. If they've had a 9 to 5 their entire life, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. You have to tell them, I need you to help me market my business. So I created a Facebook event. I added you as a co-host. I need you to invite all of your friends. I need you to post in there every week. Give them specifics. Start calling in those favors. Do it. I sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do it. Do it now. Oh, you're welcome, Felicia. Hey. All right, so let me pause here for just a second, because y'all know if you let me, I will talk until next Tuesday. So do you have any questions thus far? Because I'm getting ready to move into a different segment, but I want to make sure that I don't lose you. Do you have any questions for me? And by the way, as I keep glancing over at the screen, I'm going to be answering questions in the order that I see them. So even if I have to go back, I'm totally fine. I just don't want you to think, well, she passed that part already. I'll wait. Don't wait. Just enter it into the chat box, and I'll make sure that I answer it. But I don't want to move on until I know that everybody's okay. I'm going to give it a few more seconds. If I don't see any questions or anything, then I will move on to the next one. I think we're okay. All right, so if we go back to that graphic, you're going to see something that says virtual programming. Virtual programming is something that I'm going to go into in depth a little bit later, but I'm bringing your attention to it right now because a lot of us who were in the offline world, mostly people like me, like my primary business, I had two arms of my business, speaking and doing live events. All of that is offline. Full engagement in person. So I had to start shifting to a virtual programming option. Hold on. Can you speak a bit further on investing in your business when the investment is not necessarily there? Okay. All right, Bunny, I see your question, so let me address that. I'm going to read that out again. Can you speak a bit further on investing in your business when the investment is not necessarily there? So investing in your business could be learning a new skill. So when I say invest in your business, it's not always just a monetary amount. YouTube has millions of videos on how to learn how to do something that you need. If you are not familiar with how to grow your social media following, there ain't no shortage of videos on how to do that. Udemy, if you're not familiar with udemy.com, it's like a mashup between university and academy. Udemy, they have an online learning platform. Always check with them. I check with them regularly. For International Women's Day, they had a sale, $10.99, all their courses. And I mean, $400 and $500 courses were $10.99. I bought 6 of them. Ain't opened them up yet, but I took advantage of the sale. So it doesn't have to be expensive. So investing in the business could be getting a mentor to help you along a very specific path that you're struggling with. That's an investment. Going on YouTube to learn how to do things that you didn't know how to do before, or maybe you kind of sucky at it. That is a way to invest in the business. Another way to invest in the business is to start investigating how you can expand in a certain area. That is an investment of your time. So now is the time to invest. Bunny, let me know if that answered your question. Because investment isn't always your money. Sometimes your investment is your time. Sometimes your investment is your heart and your soul. So that's what I'm talking about when I say investment. Now, if you have the money, go for it. Go for it. I'm going to talk about forbearance loans and all of that, and people who are giving money right now and forgiving you later. So we can get into that if you need money. But for now, Bunny, let me know if that answered your question. Is it free to join the Art of Barter? Erica, yes, it is 100% free to join Art of Barter, or at least it was for me 10 years ago. Right now, I'm going to say yes, because it's always been free, but I mean, maybe now they may have shifted their business model. I'm not sure. Oh, something else I forgot to mention. Lynn, I see your question. I'll be right with you. About Art of Barter. They have something called scripts. They call them scripts, but it's basically Art of Barter dollars. They're little paper, make-believe, monopoly Art of Barter dollars. And you can use those at restaurants. Watch this. What if you want to, whenever they say we can go outside, what if you wanted to entertain a client, but you were short on money and you had $300 in Art of Barter? You email them and say, send me $200 worth of scripts. They come in $10 increments. And you go on the website and see the list of restaurants that accept those barter dollars. What? It covers all food and non-alcoholic beverages. You have to pay the tax and the tip and for alcohol. Now, truth be told, a lot of the restaurants will let you buy alcohol with it. I don't know what the rhyme or reason is. Art of Barter says you can't buy liquor with it, but I've gone to restaurants and I'm like, let me get a martini, expect to pay cash for it. They're like, nope, it's covered. I'm like, cool, no problem. So that is, that's another way you can use Art of Barter. Lynn, how do we prioritize what to ask for? So Lynn, I want you to write down everything you want to ask for. Write it all down. Don't ask anybody anything yet. So you write down everything that you want to ask for. And then I want you to ask yourself, which one of these is the most pressing in this moment for me right now? Not for tomorrow. I mean, sitting right where you are, right in this moment. What do I need the most? That's how you prioritize. That is a way for you to also get clear about what your needs are. You don't need to ask for everything all at once. If you know that you're going to ask someone for more than one thing, depending on the relationship that you have with them, personally, the relationships that I have, I'm able to say, so I'm going to need some help with a few things. Right now, I need help with this. Later on, not right now, no hurry, but I'm going to need help with that. So just keep an eye out if you have some resources for me. So it's okay to start asking people for more than one thing, or at least letting them know you're going to ask them for more than one thing. But in terms of how to prioritize what to ask for, what do you need right this second, right now? I do know, I live in Indiana, so I don't know if people in Illinois have this relief coming or not. But in Indiana, NIPSCO is our electric and gas company, and they sent out letters and emails to all of their customers and said, we ain't shutting nobody off. I don't care how much you owe. Right now, we are not shutting anybody off, which I thought was really fantastic. So if for right now, the immediate need is you need food. And speaking of food, and this isn't just for Lynn, this is everybody. If right now money is really, really tight, apply for food stamps. It's your money. Most people don't look at it that way. It's seriously your money. And if you need help right now, you can apply for emergency food stamps, just a way to balance out the budget a little bit. And it may not be a lot, $100, depending on if you have kids, it might be 500. I don't know what the numbers are, but now would be the time to do that. They're awarding it to practically everybody because of what's happening right now. And I hope I answered, wholly answered your question. Bunny, you said, yes, it does. Thank you. You are very welcome. Lynn, holy cow. What's the holy cow for? What's the holy cow for, Lynn? I don't know. I said a whole bunch of stuff since then. So you got to tell me what the holy cow is for. I'll look back at that in a second. All right. So I was talking about the things that you can do to shift. Now, virtual programming works for a lot of people. However, what if you were in an industry or are in an industry where working online is just not possible? If you're a hairdresser, you can't do anybody's hair through Facebook. If you're a bartender, you can't serve anybody through Instagram. You can't do that. So what do? If you are a hairdresser, as an example, let's just think about all the clients, your regulars that you've had for a very long time. They sitting at home trying to figure out how the hell to do their hair because they had you all this time. So you know what you're going to do? You are going to start selling your knowledge. Start selling your knowledge online. All of the ingredients that we use when we're putting products in our hair that are damaging it. I need you to make a tutorial about that. I need you to start making tutorials about the proper way to straighten hair. Start making tutorials about the different types of hair. If you're a 4C or anything, start selling your knowledge. If there is someone in another state who's thinking about becoming a hairdresser, do a Q&A. It's like, hey, it's going to cost $49 and I'll tell you everything you need to know before going into the hairdressing industry. People want to know stuff like that. Everybody's online learning. So why not be ahead of the curve? If you're a bartender, why don't you create a book about your special drinks that you have? Which particular juices that are more citrusy go with a dark or a light liquor? Like, that's just not my area of expertise. I know what tastes good and I say, give me that, and that's it. But start selling your knowledge. Jobs that were offline, you can still bring them online. You just have to pivot because that's what we're talking about today. Oh, money for the food at the restaurant. Yeah, I know, right? I know. And I'll be honest with you. I done told you my story, y'all. But with Art of Barter, that saved me a lot. There were quite a few occasions. I remember my power went out and it was out for so long that a lot of my food had spoiled. And I was on food stamps at the time, and they weren't going to re-up for another 2 weeks. And I'm like, how the heck am I going to eat? And those Art of Barter dollars, they saved me. They really did. So that's just a really great place for you to start. Okay. If you're at home, I want to talk about very specific ways that you can pivot while you are at home. Now, let me get my clipboard out, because this is where it starts to get y'all. When I tell y'all I was making notes and researching the crap out of stuff for y'all, I was doing it. So you're going to see 3 very specific areas in terms of pivoting at home: productivity tips, health and wellness tips, and new business ideas. So I'm going to give you just a few. However, what I did is that I created a resource summary of opportunities sheet. I'm trying to remember, because there's a long name I came up with. It was called a resource summary of opportunities. And it's going to have like this long list of things, resources for you, business tips, pivoting in productivity, health and wellness, new business ideas. It's the stimulus. Oh my God, there's just a lot of different things. So I'm going to give you just a few tips right now, but I'm also going to give you the link where you can go and download the report that's going to have hundreds or even thousands of ideas and resources and tips for you. So stay with me. Productivity tips if you are at home. If you were working before and those hours were working for you, keep the same hours. Keep the same hours. If the hours you were working before did not work for you, now is the time for you to start shifting the hours that work for you. I am not a morning person. I get up in the morning, and the first thing I want to do when I stand up is sit down. I just like to sit and I think about my day and I plan it out. I'm not someone to just get up and go, 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 go. There are times when I have to do that, but whatever your hours were that worked, I want you to keep those same hours. Another productivity tip, which probably contradicts what you're doing right now, but get off social media. Social media will drain your time. Time is not recyclable. You can't get it back. I remember I was going through a very lean time and I had to get my cable cut off. I thought I was going to die. I'm like, Lord, how am I going to live without my cable? When I tell you my productivity shot through the roof, it did. So get off of social media if you want to be productive. You can have downtime and then get on social media, but seriously, don't let that be your entire day. Turn off your notifications on your phone. Those text messages, emails, such and such is going live right now. Those notifications, shut them off. When you are trying to be productive, and you know what I'm talking about when you're in that zone. Lynn, you know, when you're writing and you're like, oh man, this is good. The last thing you need is that ding, ding, and it distracts you, right? Erica, I know you know what I'm talking about. Bunny, I know you know what I'm talking about. Cynthia, yes. When you're in that zone and you get distracted, if you allow that distraction, it kind of takes you out of your zone. Use a vacation auto reply for your email when you're doing time blocking. So for this hour, I'm going to be doing this. For these 30 minutes, I'm going to be doing that. You can put on a vacation auto reply on your email. So if people are emailing you and you may say, hey, whatever, I am working on a project, you know, I'm underwater, I'll get back to you in 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever. This way, people who are trying to reach out to you, they understand that you're in the middle of something. And if they love you, they'll be okay with it or not. So I'm going to move over to health and wellness tips. Again, I have so many different tips available to you in the download, and I'll get to that in a second. So some health and wellness tips. Now, I'll be honest with you. This is my third. Z, is it my third live stream since we started, or fourth? I think it's my third or fourth. So I get to see myself on camera. And when I saw myself on camera, I'm like, yeah, I had gained a few pounds. I gained a few pounds. And it's because my ass is sitting in the house a lot. So some health and wellness tips that I had to learn to implement that I'm going to share with you. And it's not just health, it's mental and emotional well-being as well. So I had to learn how to stand and not sit. So there are some things, like if I have a conference call, instead of sitting, I will stand and I may pace a little bit. And just that little burn of energy keeps me from craving a whatchamacallit or a payday or some baked chocolate chip cookies or some caramel cake. See, I'm having a moment. So sometimes I stand and not sit. I also keep healthy snacks in the house. I keep the healthy snacks in the house. Once I saw myself on camera, I'm like, yeah, next time I go to the grocery store, we having some almonds. I'm gonna get some fruit, some lemons, something. So I want you to keep healthy snacks in the house. Motivational environments. Motivational environment. So what that means, well, you can't see this. So in my house, I have various things along the wall that say, love, you got this. When shift happens, step up. I keep motivational things all around me so that as I'm going through the house, I'm constantly reminded you are unstoppable. This is your time. You are a doer of good for others. So for your emotional and mental well-being, I want you to know the place that you have in this world. You are important. What you do is important. And I want you to be constantly reminded of that. But we can also lose sight of that if our entire identity is wrapped up in work and then work gets snatched away from us. So keep something motivational around you at all times. This seems very rudimentary and like common sense, but you would be surprised at how many of us don't do it. I'm going to need y'all to stay hydrated. Dehydration is a foundation for a lot of health ailments, and you don't want that. Stay hydrated. All right, so I'm going to move on to new business ideas. New business ideas. This does not mean that you have to drop everything you're doing and start a new business. You don't have to do that. But there's some other ways that you can make money in addition to what it is that you're doing. And it doesn't necessarily take up a whole lot of your time. I've gotten into, one of them is drop shipping. I'd gotten into drop shipping before. And as it started to build momentum, so did my speaking business. And I was just like, so which one's making me more money? Which one's taking up more of my time, and which one do I love the most? So speaking beat out the drop shipping. I don't know. I'm not going to say I was making a lot of money because I had just started about 3 months in, but after about 3 months, I was up to maybe $900 in a month in just those 3 months. But when I tell you I dove all the way into drop shipping, I did. Drop shipping is an idea. You don't have to hold on to inventory. I love that aspect of it. If you are really good at multitasking, if you're good at any type of Microsoft software, maybe you can consider being a virtual assistant. Since you are on social media, and probably more now than ever, consider being someone's social media manager. You're on social media anyway, if you understand how the algorithms work. And again, if you don't know how to do it or you don't feel like you're an expert at it, you don't have to be. You do not have to be. Only thing you need to know is more than the person who's paying you. Uh-oh, I just said something. Most people think that they have to know everything about a certain topic before they can charge people for it. That is one of the biggest things that's going to keep you broke. When I used to teach people how to write and publish their own book, the very first time, I knew a little something because I had published my own. But that was a whole lot more than the people who were sitting in my class. I'm sure there are other people who knew more about it than I did. And as the years went on, I got better and better, and I felt comfortable calling myself an expert. But right out the gate, the only thing you need to know is more than the person who's paying you. You know something they don't know. So please don't come down on yourself and say, well, I don't think I know enough about that. If you have the basics down, you can do a basic training 101 and you can charge for that. So as a social media manager, I don't want you to think that you have to know everything about social media and I don't understand algorithms. Go on YouTube, you figure it out, try it on your own social media, maybe get a beta test like a client. Say, let me do this for you for 2 weeks. If it works, you got it. I'm going to need you to start charging for it. Okay, so those are some new business ideas. Let me stop and see. Totally makes a difference. Yep. Yes, ma'am. Cynthia. Yep. All right. Excellent. Z was like, your hair is on the mic. You could tell me that.
Your hair's on the mic.
Thank you. Z, he typing it like everybody can't see that. Your hair is on the mic. Okay. Okay, I told y'all this is really informal. So when y'all saw me do this, I'm like, okay, fine. So I am going to move into what everybody's talking about right now. COVID relief. Unemployment registration and Q&A. So all of this, by the way, is going to be in the summary report that I told you about. I'm going to give you a few Q&A things right now. Financial amnesty, companies that are lending money to small business owners and entrepreneurs, and stimulus details for Q&A. So let me look at this. And I don't know where my glasses are, so I might hold this out right here. So I'm going to start with unemployment. So who qualifies for unemployment? I'm just going to give you 3 top questions that people have asked me about it, because I started talking about it and I started researching it. And when I started doing that, people started asking me questions, and I'm like, why don't I just put this all in one place? So I'm going to give you the top 3 things that people ask me about unemployment. So number 1, I just lost my job. What kind of help can I get? Well, once you're on unemployment insurance in your state, you're going to be eligible for an additional $600 a week in emergency federal compensation all the way through to July 31st. Now, that's in addition to what you're going to receive in state benefits. So if you had a regular job and you lost it, that's going to be on top of your unemployment insurance. Now, let's just say you applied for a job and they said, we want to hire you. Great. You start on Monday, but then everything shut down that day and you couldn't start. If you could not start a job as a result of the coronavirus, you get unemployment too. What? Yes. Yes, you do. Now, here's a question that's going to apply to a lot of people who are watching me live right now. I'm self-employed and didn't previously qualify for unemployment. Am I eligible now? Yes, hunty. If you are self-employed, you don't pay into like unemployment insurance. For self-employed, this particular bill, you get paid. So let me read it. The bill that was created is called the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. It extends benefits to gig workers. This is their language, not mine. Gig workers. So if you're a musician and you were doing gigs as a way to make money and now you can't gig anymore, you get money. Contractors, people like me, if you're a coach, if you made money by writing, if you made money anywhere in the self-employment arena, you qualify. And you don't even have to prove that you've made so much money in order to get it. Others who couldn't otherwise qualify for unemployment compensation but cannot work due to the corona emergency. You'll get the $600 a week plus half the average unemployment benefit in your state. I read that verbatim. These 3 questions, along with about 50 other ones, are in the report that you're going to be able to download for free. Y'all talking to each other. Y'all so funny. I love my pippers. I love my peoples. Financial amnesty. So financial amnesty, there are some companies that are lending money and they are forgiving them. Like, I can't remember how long it is, but the link is going to be in the report that I'm going to send to you. But I'm going to move on to the stimulus, because that one right there is a hot button topic. But I'm sure you've heard a lot of stuff, but I'm going to give you some facts about the stimulus package. When is the money coming? Stuff all over my shirt. When is the money coming? That's what people want to know. They're like, yeah, $1,200. When do I get it? Where do I sign up? So watch this. You don't need to sign up or fill out a form to receive a payment if you've been working and paying taxes since 2018. So here's the thing. In order to qualify to receive it, you have to have filed your 2018 taxes, at least 2018. You don't have to file 2019, but definitely 2018. If you have not yet filed 2018, it's not too late, but I suggest you do it right now. Right now. Like, today is Monday, it should be done like last Monday. Get your 2018 taxes done. Also, this is according to the New York Times. If you owe back taxes, you still qualify. So as long as you have those 2018 taxes done. I'm gonna need y'all to make sure y'all get them taxes done if you don't hear anything else I say. Some people ask, okay, so I qualify, get all that. I don't need to sign up, but how am I gonna get my money? Where are they sending it to? Here you go. If you've gotten a tax refund in the last 2 years by direct deposit, that's where the money will be sent. If not, the IRS can mail a check to your last known address. And it has 15 days to notify you of the method and amount of the payment. So the IRS has 15 days to notify you of the method and amount of payment. So that's how the money is going to be sent. And the other question that people ask me, if I'm on Social Security or I never made enough to even file, there's a certain dollar amount you have to make before you file taxes. What if you don't meet that criteria or you're on Social Security? Do you still get it? Yes. Yes, you do. What if you need money now? What if you need money right now? I'm going to give you a list of companies that are hiring right now. The stimulus money is coming. The unemployment insurance is coming. But what if you need money right now? So on this list, this is a very short list of about 100 companies that are hiring right now. So full disclosure, Amazon, I just found this out on yesterday. Amazon has workers who have gone on strike and they're claiming unsafe work conditions and work environment. So full disclosure, Amazon is indeed still hiring, but a lot of the employees are on strike. So just proceed with your eyes wide open. I want to make sure that you understand that. So all of these places are hiring right now. The list that's on my free report has over 100 companies that are hiring right now. So where exactly can you download this free report? The free report can be downloaded from my website, but you need to make sure you know the whole thing. So it is theunstoppablewoman.net/COVID-relief. theunstoppablewoman.net/COVID-relief. It's not going to cost you anything. As a matter of fact, I'm going to type it in here. And I think I have I've got some questions. Beth, such great ideas, wonderful real action tools to help. Oh, great, Beth. Thank you very much for that feedback. I appreciate it. Felicia, in regards to stimulus check, isn't it an advance of next year's taxes? Now, that is something I don't know off the top of my head. However, on the report, when I tell you there's like a slew of Q&A, I'm sure that's in there somewhere. I gave you all of the questions that I get asked regularly, but that is an excellent question. And that's something people need to know so that if that is so next year, if your check is a little short, you'd be like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to get this earned income credit. They're like, well, last year we advanced you such and such. So that's a really good question. I'm sure it's in the report. Precious, thank you. You answered every question I had. So helpful. You are very welcome. Oh, okay. Well, you already see that. She said, hey, Z. Cynthia, great information. Oh, thanks, sis. I appreciate that. What it be like, Beth? Good grief. What was I talking about? Downloading the free report. Right. Okay. I love y'all so much. Okay. So remember earlier we were talking about virtual programming. Virtual programming. So now, this is the fun part. This is the part. Wait a minute. Here it is. Okay, so this is the part where I get really, really happy because I get to have a whole lot of fun and I make money while I'm doing it. So with virtual programming, earlier I was talking about different ways that you can stand out. How on earth do you stand out? Everyone is doing Facebook Live. They're doing YouTube Live. They're doing Zoom. And all of those platforms are really good. But I want to share with you a way for you to stand out from everyone else. and I'm going to introduce you to professional live streaming, which is a little bit different. So I'm going to talk about some of the really cool features of professional live streaming. So first, you can place your branding on the screen. Some software lets you do it. Most of them don't. So I think throughout this whole thing, you've been seeing my logo in the lower corner. So it's branded, no matter if someone tries to use this on their own or whatever, it is branded. And by the way, while you're here on my YouTube channel, I'm gonna need y'all to click subscribe, like, and share. Boom. How about that? If you think the information is useful for you, I have so many other videos on my channel. So if you all could do me that favor, I'm going to call in a favor, and I'm asking you all to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and share my videos right here on my YouTube channel. So you can place your branding on the screen. You all see my logo there. You can customize what's called a lower third. And when you customize a lower third, it can have your name. If you have another speaker who you've invited onto your summit. So I am Erica Gilchrist, award-winning speaker and expo producer. If you have another speaker, you can have their name on there and their title, just like they do on the news and other professional settings. So you have the professional lower third there. If you have a presentation with professional live streaming, a PowerPoint presentation or whatever, you can insert those slides too. And all those slides I've been showing you, that's what that is. One of the really cool things that I like about professional live streaming is if you have a pre-recorded video that you want to insert, you can do that. So when we first started at the top of the hour, my bio came on. That's a pre-recorded video. And then when the video was over with, then I came on live. So right now, I'm going to show you a pre-recorded video. And this is actually a video that Z created about his live streaming services. So Z, let me know when you're ready or when it's queued up. And this is a pre-recorded video. We good? All right. So we're going to show you a pre-recorded video, and then I'll be right back with you.
The world is changing, and so is the way people are consuming information, entertainment, and education. You need to be able to adapt your business in order to keep up with these rapid and inevitable changes. Make no mistake, live streaming is the future, and the future is now. In 2020, live streaming is expected to account for 82% of all internet traffic. More than 1 in 5 Facebook videos are live and are watched 3 times longer than pre-recorded videos. 45% of live video audiences would pay for live, exclusive, or on-demand video from a favorite team, speaker, or performer. Speakers, conferences, concerts, and festivals make up 43% of the most watched live content. SUBSCIBE is now providing professional multi-camera live streaming. That means you can live stream to platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Vimeo all at the exact same time with real-time engagement with your audience. We can use up to 10 video sources, including pro cameras and cell phones for a wide variety of perspectives and angles. We can introduce pre-recorded videos into the feed and can even change the background by using chroma key techniques. And the audio always remains clean and crystal clear. Contact us today to learn more about professional live streaming.
All right, pre-recorded videos, and it can be anything that you want. So the benefit of being able to do something like that is, let's just say you had a summit like Erica. I know that you had a couple of summits, and there was a point that you made and it just came out crystal clear, or maybe one of your speakers said something and you have their permission to reuse the content. Instead of just trying to explain it to people, you can easily say, well, let me show you better than I can tell you. Here's a clip of a previous summit that I did. Now, what that's also going to do is it's going to tell people that you actually do summits. And they're like, oh man, that's the kind of stuff you do. I want to see the next one. So being able to play pre-recorded videos is really, really good. Another way you can stand out is clean audio. Now, most of us don't think about this. We just watch social media and then it's like, oh yeah, I can hear them. So I want you to see the difference between clean audio and audio that you normally hear on social media. So this right here,
This is clean audio. No.
this is clean audio right here. Z's like, make sure you tell them this is clean audio. This is clean audio. Let me know when the audio is not clean anymore.
Okay, here's the crap.
Okay. So this is the audio that's not as clean. I'm sure you can hear a very distinct difference between the two. So right now you can hear me. You can probably understand what it is that I'm saying, but it's not as engaging as it was when I had the clean audio. So I'm going to go back to the clean audio. That was the crappy one. This the clean audio. Z, let me know when I'm clean. That just sounded weird.
You're back clean again.
I'm back clean again. This is the clean audio. Oh, Erica. Oh my God. Yes, I need that for the summit. Z, let's put that on the list. Z, she said, let's put it on the list. I got it. Okay. So one of my favorite parts. Okay. I'm about to have some fun. First, I need to introduce you all to a friend of mine. This is Tyler. Boop, boop. This is my boop, boop right here. So this is Tyler. And Tyler is going to stay right here in mission control. One of the fun things about professional live streaming is that you can display multiple angles. You can do a split screen all at the same time. So I'm in mission control right now, which is Studio A, and I'm going to walk over to Studio B. So I'm going to leave Tyler right here. Okay, so hold on a second. I'm going to leave Tyler right here. Yep. All right, Tyler, you sit there. Keep the people's company. All righty. Okay, I'm going over. All righty. Hi, this is Studio B. I guess this is, unmission control or mission not controlled. I'm not sure. So you see me on one half of the screen, boop, boop, and you see my little Tyler in the other half of the screen. So let's just say you have a speaker or a guest or a co-host, and you want to do like they do on CNN or something, and you have both speakers looking at the monitors at the same time. You have that option when you do professional live streaming. So if I were to say, if I'm interviewing Tyler right now, I'll say, well, Tyler, how's it going? Being stiff all day. It's a bad joke, but you see what I'm getting at, right? So you have this opportunity. So, and then let's say Tyler's gone now. I'm saying, Tyler, thank you so much for joining us. And then I have this entire studio all on one screen again. So if Tyler's gone and now I want to stay here to do the rest of the broadcast, the entire screen is now on me. See how that works? Yes, that's pretty cool, right? Okay, so we're going to do the split screen again because I'm about to go back over into mission control and I'm going to relieve Tyler of his duties. So I'm heading back over to Michigan control. Michigan control? The hell was that? Hey, Tyler. Good job. Tyler says, thank you for having me. All right, that was pretty cool, right? So you have that option in displaying multiple angles and doing the split screen when you're doing professional live streaming. All right, we have a question. Tyler Berry. Cut it out. Lynn said, big difference. Yeah, it is, right? The sound quality is really different. This Cynthia, is there a special place to type my dilemma? You can put it in the chat box, but if you don't want everyone to see it, you're going to have to email me directly. But everything happens right here in the live chat. I'm trying to see if there's a way. Nope. There's not a way for you to do it separately. You would enter it here in the live chat, or you can simply email me, ericagilchrist@gmail.com. So because it would be entered privately, I would answer you privately as well. Nope, there's no special place. It's just right here. All right, so that was pretty cool with the split screen. That's something that that you can do. It's another feature. So what are the benefits of professional live streaming? So there are a lot of benefits. A lot of benefits for me, especially because when I don't do events in person, I can save a lot of money. So some of the benefits of professional live streaming: no venue costs. You don't have to deal with catering costs. It's a very budget-friendly option. When you think about everything that's involved in running events, you can definitely save money there. Okay, Cynthia, hold on a second. I see your question. Give me one moment. No travel expenses. I'll be honest with you. When I do speaking events, I do all-inclusive pricing. So I charge them my honorarium, and then I calculate how much it would cost to travel, the car rental, the gas, the hotel, the flight, all of that stuff, and I include it in the price. But I don't need to do that if I'm doing live streaming. No parking expenses. We're in the Chicago area. Need I say more? Far less payroll expenses. You know, at my expo, I do have a group of trusted volunteers, but I do have people that I have to pay to perform very specific duties that not everyone can do. And with professional live streaming, I don't have that particular expense. You can reach a global audience. I don't care how fabulous the Women Thriving Fearlessly Expo is. You still got to get to it. You know, someone in Canada or even over in Michigan, they still have to do a lot of travel in order to get there. But when you're doing professional live streaming, you can reach a global audience. Brand elevation. I want you to think about some of the things, some of the features we just showed you. And with these features, it's just going to elevate your brand. The clean audio, the logo, the lower third, the split screen, the pre-recorded videos, all of that stuff sets you apart from anyone else. And also, I want you to think about the quality of the visual. Some of us are using webcams on our laptops, and yes, we can see you, but the quality of the imagery isn't as sharp. And you can repurpose the content because it gets recorded. So this right here, I can easily sell this. What I'm doing for you right now. Yep, go ahead and show me. What I'm doing right this second, I could easily sell it. And I can call it, I can call it whatever I want and charge $99 for it or whatever, because the information that I gave was something of value. I got validated with the people who are watching it. They're like, this is really useful for me. And that's great feedback, by the way. That's not like feeding my ego or anything, because I genuinely want to know if this information helps. And because I know that it does, I can repurpose this content at any time. I can take portions of this and drop it into my academy. Oh, speaking of which, I am doing a pivot. I was going to launch my WTF Academy in October at the Women Thriving Fearlessly Expo. I have since moved that date up to July 1st. So I have to be finished with everything by June 30th. And there are some videos that I'm creating, and I'm going to take portions of them and I'm going to drop them inside of the Academy, along with exclusive content that's only available for Academy members. So professional live streaming is really next level. So how do you get professional live streaming? For those of you all who know me, you know my squad. Who do you think I'm going to say to reach out to for professional live streaming? Dark Side. Dark Side of Delight is beyond simple video production. So it's not just live streaming. There's internet marketing. There's book trailers. You saw my bio. If you go to the website, there's going to be a lot more information on there in terms of ways you can get professional live streaming. You all know me. I don't pull any punches. I'm not full of shit. I keep quality people around me, and I'm not just saying this because Z and I have been best friends. He's my male bestie for now it's 27 years. And he is probably the number one man I've ever met who is so supportive of women's empowerment. He has 4 daughters and he pours his life into women's empowerment because he does not want his daughters to grow up saying being a woman is a barrier. So go to Dark Side. He has my stamp. Let me go back to the chat box for a second. Z, did you have anything you wanted to add to that? I was just checking.
No.
No.
Can I show you now?
Yes. Okay, hold on. Okay, so no, read the one above. Is there a place to type my dilemma? He's just damn good at what he does. Yeah, help me out. Is that the dilemma? Is that you don't know where to put the dilemma? I thought you wanted me to type it somewhere else. Well, I'm a travel advisor and owner of my travel business. Oh, with COVID pandemic, most of my clients have canceled their booking and waiting to book next year. Okay, so type it somewhere else. Well, I'm a travel advisor and the owner of my travel business. So you're asking for Precious Rock Travel, are you asking me how do you pivot as a travel consultant? Is that, tell me what your question is. That would help me. So I see a dilemma, but what specific question? Is there a special place to type my dilemma? Because I want to make sure that I'm understanding you so that I can answer you as accurately as possible. The item is further up in the thread. Okay, let me scroll up. One sec. This sucks without my glasses. I swear it does. I'm almost there. Hold on. I'm scrolling. Yes. Okay. So your question is, how do you pivot if you are a travel agent? All right. What else do you know how to do? While you're thinking about that, I want you to consider what are some tips that you know novice travelers won't know. So some people are stuck in other countries right now. Like they're quarantined. They can't get out. What if they don't have the money to stay in those hotels or whatever the case may be? Is there some type of travel insurance or some type of regulation that they need to know about? You can start selling what it is that you know. Start selling your knowledge. So if you start putting together, because remember, they're going to ding the bell very soon for us to be able to go outside for recess again. Being a travel consultant, when they say, okay, it's safe to start traveling now, that is a beautiful position to be in. But while we're all at home, I want you to start creating videos. I want you to start creating tutorials. So you can start telling people, so listen, your dream vacation is going to happen. But here's some things you may need to know when you are traveling. I get that people right now may not have the money to travel, but you want to be top of mind. And as a travel consultant, you understand that things don't happen immediately. It takes time to build relationships with your customers and then getting new customers in and then building relationships with them. So that's one way. Also, in addition to travel, I used to be a flight attendant. And as a result of being a flight attendant, there's just things I happen to know by happenstance just because I'm a flight attendant. When people start talking about PPEs and certain FAA regulations on flights and such, I knew exactly what they were talking about because I used to be a flight attendant. And when I fly, I'm a different kind of flyer. So I know what to look for. I can create videos easily, and it's not the safety instruction. It's stuff that they don't tell you, the stuff that I was trained to do. For example, and I'm going to give you another example too. But for example, as a flight attendant, some of the things is I tell people to count the number of seats to the nearest exit. Don't look at the row number, because if the cabin fills with smoke, you're not going to be able to see it. So what other inventory, skill set inventory do you have that you're able to sell now? What were you doing before you were doing travel? What were you doing before you were doing travel? Did you work a specific job? What did you learn on that job? What could you sell? If you're a travel consultant, if there are discounts that you know are coming down the pike, you want to let them know that. Because I know airline prices right now are like stupid, mad, crazy, ridiculously low. But those are some other things. You can easily email me if you want to, and I can come up with some other ones. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm just going to ask you, what do you want to ask me? Anything at all before we close it out. Whatever you want to ask me. I'm so glad y'all here. Anything at all. If y'all need PPEs, yes, Cynthia, let them know. If y'all need PPEs, we have a connect to get stuff at a reasonable price and turn around. I was a case manager with a social service agency for 30 years. Do you know how much knowledge you have that you can start selling? Now, I am lovingly called the bullet point queen, and I could probably come up with about 5 or 6 different bullet points for you to start selling your knowledge. 30 years, get out. If you all need PPEs, contact Cynthia Fitch. Are there any other questions? Any other questions? I'm going to give you all about 20 seconds, and then I got to sign off. Because I said I was going to do this for about an hour, and I don't want to disrespect your time. Any other questions? Z, do you have anything else that you want to add? Oh, by the way, before I forget, if you currently have a business, even if it's a brick and mortar that's temporarily shut down, you still need to set up a Yelp business page. Have it up there. Okay? Anything else? Okay. All right. So I want to thank you all so very much. Oh, to download, to download the link, I'm going to put that in the description, as well as the link for Art of Barter, as well as the link to Dark Side. Oh, thank you, Erica. Thank you. Thank you, Bunny and Cynthia. All right, y'all. I'm getting ready to sign off. This was great. You gave me some great ideas. That's awesome. That's awesome, Cynthia. Thank you so very much. All right, y'all. You all know how to get in touch with me. I hope that this was great for you. Share the video if you think it was of use to you. It's a public link. It does not cost you anything to hit the share button, share it on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. I love you all. WTF, Women Thriving Fearlessly. Signing off for now.